To you, King Abdullah, greetings. This is the fourth letter that I sent to you through YouTube. I just saw the tape, the video of your prayer breakfast meeting in the United States in Washington, D.C. And I noticed that there's a lot of thumbs up on that tape, but I also saw 8 thumbs down. I don't know why there would be 8 thumbs down, but then again, I do know. I can understand that. And I tried to get some views in my YouTube, but I haven't gotten too many of them. I see why not, but then again, okay, I understand that. But this is a fourth letter to you, and I hope you bear with me. So to you, King Abdullah, greetings. The President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, campaigned on one issue, among others. No Muslim will be allowed in the country, along with any Syrian refugee, with the belief that a terrorist might have infiltrated them and may sneak into the country to use their terrorist tactics on its population. I read of one incident near your kingdom of a car bomb that came through from opposite a Syrian refugee camp that exploded, killing 6 Jordanian soldiers. I am very sorry for that. I am mindful of the Jordanian military airplane pilot that was burned alive by that diabolical terrorist group, ISIL. I looked at it, and then before they lit it up, I said, I can't watch this. I'm so very sorry for that military airplane pilot, and for his loved ones, and for all the soldiers that you lost, because their loved ones lost that too. I am an ambassador for world peace. That may not be so surprising that I put it that way, given the letters I sent. Nobody actually contacts me about what I write, though. No one gets back to me with comments on what I share, except for one. I am in a one-way communication system. Until recently, I just received a notification from an African man. He commented on a video that I spoke on. I have spoken many times against terrorism and terrorists. I have spoken against illegal slavery, slave traders, and human trafficking in the world. My video was against terrorism and terrorists who have been beheading Christians for their faith in Somalia, Africa, and elsewhere. Slave trade and human trafficking is huge in Somalia also. My main focus and the reason that I write is to make the real Jesus Christ known to the world. I love people of all kinds around the world. I think of them like they are my brothers and sisters. The Syrians have retaken control of Aleppo. King Assad kills his own people. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Syria are allies. Vladimir Putin continues to strong-arm anybody he wants to. President Trump of the United States is friendly in ally with Putin. He tries strong-arm tactic as well. North Korea and Iran close to having a nuclear missile. ISIL is still holding on to Iraq. I understand barely, but I think they're still doing so. ISIL attacking any Muslim nation that does not believe in the way that they do. That would include your nation, Jordan. They believe that they are the only true believers in God. ISIL's strategy is to establish preeminence over the Muslim world, attacking anybody that doesn't bow down to them. 2 Corinthians 5:20 in the Bible says, we are Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. Jesus is known as the Prince of Peace, for he has come from the Father. He has given me my peace. He helps me in my circumstances. I am also a servant of Christ. He gives me wisdom and understanding and knowledge. 2 Timothy 3:17. He thoroughly equips me for every good work. O King Abdullah and Queen Rania, without the Prince of Peace, there cannot be peace in the Middle East or elsewhere. I'm talking about everlasting peace, not just the truce, but peace that lasts just for a time. This Jesus is a prince. He is the son of a father who is a king. As you were the prince of your father, King Hussein, inheriting the kingdom and becoming king of the nation of Jordan. 2 Corinthians 5:16. So from now on we regard no one from a worldly point of view. Though we once regarded Christ this way, we do so no longer. We regarded Jesus Christ in the wrong way, just like you in your way regard him, but not any longer. We cannot understand by reasoning it down. One cannot understand the strife and struggle that you have in the Middle East, why brothers are fighting against their own brothers, destroying each other. We should turn to our natural means to understand these things, but we do not understand these things through our natural mind. Turn to the spiritual way, that is the only other way, since we are made up of the mind and spirit. He is understood by the spirit that he gives to those who believe, not by the natural mind. I tried to know the out with my natural mind, so I turned to the spiritual means to understand this. This Christ Messiah is the true Messiah. He is not an antichrist/anti-Messiah, no matter what one may have heard or what one may have read. Nobody's being deceived here. Jeremiah 29:9. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Do not let the prophets and diviners among you deceive you. Do not listen to the dreams of which they dream. They are prophesying lies to you in my name. I have not sent them, declares the Lord. Jeremiah 29:11-14. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. Then you will call me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me, and you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord. Esau is one of the real antichrists. Also, anything else that goes up against this Jesus that I have been speaking of is an antichrist. Antichrists include certain individuals as well. Look out for them too. Beware of them, especially for they wear sheep's clothing, but inside they are ravenous wolves looking to devour. They are antichrists. There is one antichrist, Al-Masa ad-Dajjal. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not. This Jesus I am speaking of is not Al-Masa ad-Dajjal, Masu ad-Dajjal, pretending to be the Messiah. He is the true Messiah. Mark 3:22-26. And the teachers of the law who came down from Jerusalem saying, he is possessed by Beelzebul, by the prince of demons he is driving out demons. So Jesus called them over to him, for he knew their thoughts, and began to speak to them in parables. How can Satan drive out Satan? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan opposes himself and is divided, he cannot stand, his end is come. Muslim nations are going to war against other Muslim nations. Syria attacking your Jordan. How can those Muslim nations stand? Russia and Syria are allies. Russia and Syria team up to kill other Muslims. ISIL is terrorizing and destroying Muslim countries and killing Muslim people. Those Muslim countries and Muslim people cannot stand. President Assad of Syria is killing his own people. How can that country of Syria stand? This Jesus I believe in does not divide or destroy. I had spoken to you about him. He died for his enemies and came to set people free. The Antichrist divides and destroys. The Muslim people, not all of course, are dividing and killing, not saving, not setting their people free. They are making people slaves of men and slaves of fear. This Jesus Christ is the Al-Mahdi, the demon. Islam tradition speaks of the Al-Mahdi, who is to come. This is he, Messiah to Christ. This is a huge misunderstanding and devastating one. True Jesus Christ has come and has saved many. Those who put their faith in the death, resurrection, and coming again of Jesus Christ, I say, the true Messiah, have rid the wrong that they have done, and now do righteous and good things. This Jesus has been ridding the world of evil and continues to rid the world of evil. He stretches his arms out to Muslims, Jews, and all other people in the world today, just like he did to the nation of Israel, but they refused. And in 70 AD, the Roman Empire destroyed them in their place of worship. King Abdullah, a careful search and inquiry of this matter, it is a matter of life and death. This Jesus, who many believe to be the true one, has left many with a testimony for his goodness and saving grace. There are many commandments, but there are two that all the law and the prophets hang on. Matthew 22:35-40. An expert in the law tested Jesus with this question. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment of the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. People need to love their neighbor as themselves, or there will never be peace between them. Peace comes when we give ourselves to another in love for that person, not seeking our own interests, but their interests. But that does not mean that your own interests will have to be set aside. Philippians 2:2-4. Be of the same mind, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. This Jesus exemplified these virtues. Look out not only for your own interests, but for the interests of others. You can look out for your own interests, but you must look out for others' interests as well. There is peace when one in humility values another more than themselves. There is peace when both are in one spirit and one mind. There is peace when one is not selfish or conceited. There is peace when one in humility values others above themselves. There is peace when one does not look to their own interests only, but for the other one's interests as well. He even puts the other person's interests above his own. Lasting peace and tranquility are not assured within that region, and in particular within Palestine, until Israel and the Palestinians, the Muslim Arab people, and the Jewish people bring their hostilities and huge differences to an end and brotherly reconciliation with each other. The Jews and Palestinians, in order to secure lasting peace, must reconcile as loving brothers toward one another. This will bring them unity and the ability to fight and defend themselves against someone like ISIL, or a brother that is not fond of this reconciliation, or someone who just hates Arabs and Jews come together like one people. Your peace with Israel will go a long way in bringing peace to the Middle East. Excuse me, I've done this all the time. In my second letter to you, King Abdullah, I brought you back to the time where it all began. The account of Abraham and Sarah, Abraham and Hagar, and Isaac and Ishmael. When these hostilities began between descendants. Abraham's house was divided. His house is still divided to this day. They are still angry with one another. Not all, of course, the kingdom of Jordan and Israel have made their peace with one another. Thanks in huge part to your father, King Hussein, and his signing of the peace treaty of October of 1994 between Jordan and Israel. He left you a beautiful heritage. Without this signing, peace in the Middle East would be still so far behind becoming a reality. Father Abraham, on the other hand, did not bring peace between his wife Sarah and Hagar, but sent Hagar away instead, along with her son Ishmael. This division was not resolved between them. It's still not resolved to this day. Father Abraham did have another son through Sarah, named Isaac, then Jacob. He was renamed by God himself Israel. They became the children of promise. Also those who believe in this Jesus Christ will become the children of promise as well. Please refer back to that account if you may. That would be a great benefit for you. And there may be a defining moment. If there were an argument between your children, you and Queen Rania would take care of that right away and settle the matter. Not taking care of that situation could end up being a sore spot with your children, lasting affairs. Also, I want to say this, if I may. Let's just say the children should take a trip. The world is beautiful. They decide to live in that part of the world, and they do. But sometime later, your children communicate with you and say, we changed our religion. We do not believe in what you and Mom had told us when we were growing up. We changed our culture. Our rule of law has changed. We have become an entirely new people. That is what happened to God. You, King Abdullah, and Queen Rania would not be at all pleased with this news. But you have a son who is still with you. He is of age, he is mature, trustworthy, and responsible for any task given to him that you see fit. You send him to see what is going on with your children. You find out that it is true. I must win them back, you say. You have a plan. Send them your son. Send your son to them to win them back. This Jesus is the Son sent by God, the same God who is the God and Father of us all. Jesus, the Son, was sent to win people back. He is the Christ Messiah. Excuse me again. God is one. Yes, that is true. He is one God. And he is a Father because he created us all. And if God is one, then why are there so much that separates the people? There are huge differences. They have different religions. They have different books that claim to be the Word of God. The Christians have the Bible. The Muslims have the Quran. The Jews have the Torah. That makes no sense for them to do that. That is confusing. That is like there is more than one God. One God tells a certain people this, and another God tells a certain people something else. One God tells people what to think and what to believe about Him, and how to worship Him, and how to live before Him in this world. And another God telling another people something different. That's not possible. Something's wrong. Terrorism is the biggest and most dangerous threat, with ISIL preeminent amongst all terrorist groups in the world. The region of Palestine would be the greatest and most glorious conquest in the prize of the world. The Palestinian state would fit right into ISIL's hands. The Palestinian state could set up an opportunity for ISIL. You will have for yourself and your kingdom, nation, a major problem with ISIL. ISIL travels throughout the Middle East and Europe, going about creating terror, leaving a wake of devastation in its path, including Muslim countries. You do not want the situation on your hands. The possibility that their strategy could include coming through you into Palestine and close to Israel. Each nation can have its traitors. The world is not safe, especially for those who are complacent in their very own securities. Every nation in the world is susceptible. Nobody is safe. The most effective way that ISIL can operate is when a nation is divided, and then they come to conquer. A nation is vulnerable when that nation has a slumping economy, social instabilities, and a people that fear. ISIL is very patient. They wait and wait, and they strike when the time is right. President Trump of the United States left the people in limbo between countries. President Trump saved embarrassment and humiliation by allowing 872 refugees into the country. They were caught in between an administration change. This was due to President Obama allowing them to come and to Trump's policy debate. President Obama knew the campaign promise by Donald Trump to keep people out for a time, but allowed them to come anyway. President Trump still fears that terrorists could be among them. The United States has in its country what they call illegal aliens, millions of them. Now all of these people from other nations want to come into the country. This includes Syrian refugees. How are they going to take care of them? They worry about it. America must come first, they say. You, King Abdullah, have allowed hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees into your country. That was a wonderful humanitarian deed on your part. Queen Rani is doing a fine humanitarian work by taking good care of those Syrian refugees. Saving them from that vicious President Assad of Syria, taking them into your land of Jordan, has been hard on your economy. Love your neighbor can come at a risk, but you love anyway and still provide for them, because that is what love is all about. You, King Abdullah and Queen Rania, are a great team. Now you need to look after your own people. Of course, you have to stop allowing them to come in the country because of that karma. You have to protect the people, but at the same time, you still continue not to give up on anyone. Much of the Syrian refugees are still outside of Jordan, the desert region. You and Queen Rania are trying your best to take care of them. You and the European Union are partnering up in this endeavor. This compares to the United States' unwillingness to provide for Syrian refugees and other non-citizens who want refuge within their country. They even want to deport the Mexicans out of the country. They crossed over the border to the United States to escape oppression. When God through Moses delivered the people from bondage and slavery in Egypt, he brought them through the Red Sea, and before bringing them into the land of Canaan, he kept them in the desert for 40 years until they were ready to take the land that was promised them through Abraham. They were not left alone in the desert. God himself was among them, pitching his tent among them, and setting up a tabernacle. He did this to show them that their dependency was to be in God. God proved that he was indeed worthy of their faith and trust. He provided for them even in the desert food and water. Provided a pillar of fire by night, so they could travel at night, and a pillar of cloud by day, signifying to them that he was present with them. The Lord said to Israel in Deuteronomy 29:5, during the 40 years that I led you in the wilderness, your clothes did not wear out, nor did your sandals on your feet. He said this to remind them how he loved them, protected them, and met their every need. And he still stretches his arms out to everyone to believe in him. This Jesus Christ I am speaking of. There are times I might get something wrong, but there's one thing that I am not or ever will be wrong. Thank God, praise him for his grace. That is, and for his Holy Spirit. That tells me that this Jesus is the true one. He that come once will come again. Thank you, King Abdullah and you, Queen Rania, for watching this message, watching this letter to you. This is my fourth one. I hope to get many views on this. But my heart's desire is actually to meet you personally, face to face, you, King Rania. Well, hopefully that will happen. By the grace of God, that will happen. Thank you, Lord, thank you, King Abdullah and Queen Rania, for watching this message. Thank you. Talk to you again. Bye.